Shadows of Shaft-9, the secret the war couldn't hide. In the heart of Poland, deep in forests that still remember the screams of war, there's a mountain where no hunter dares to tread. They say something sleeps there, something the Nazis tried to destroy and Soviet scientists struggled to understand. And everyone who tries to uncover this secret vanishes without a trace. Snow fell silently, as if it didn't want to wake the dead earth. It was 1942. Europe was suffocating in the smoke of war. Yet, in a remote corner of Lower Silesia, an unnatural quiet reigned. Only the rare roar of a plane reminded anyone that nearby, humans were still destroying each other. That evening, along a narrow road leading to an abandoned mine, a convoy of trucks moved silently. No headlights, no signals, just dim glows from their lamps and a muffled hum that seemed almost alive, like the vehicles themselves were breathing. Inside the trucks were heavy crates covered in canvas, emitting a low electrical buzz. The operation was commanded by Hauptmann Klaus Ringel from Berlin. He was ordered to deliver an experimental object to the mine, once known for its silver deposits. Legends said the mountains contained a mineral capable of holding immense energy. But the true purpose was something else entirely. Official records of Shaft-9 stated only project under the supervision of the An-Erbe Institute, level of secrecy, top secret. The soldiers didn't know the details, they just followed orders. Yet one of them, Corporal Müller, later wrote in his journal, "When we carried the crates into the mine, the ground trembled beneath our feet, as if something inside was awakening. Ringel stood apart, whispering words that sounded like prayers. That was the first time I thought we weren't just at war, we were meddling with something that shouldn't exist." Inside the mine, the walls seemed to hum with a faint green glow, as if the rock itself contained electricity. The soldiers avoided looking directly at the crates, though strange shadows flickered across their vision. Some claimed the objects moved slightly, like they were alive, but no one dared speak aloud. By the third day, the mine had been sealed with concrete, and the convoy vanished into the forests. Locals swore they heard strange sounds at night, low growls, whispers, and sometimes a faint metallic ringing that made their teeth ache. Dogs refused to enter the area, and birds never flew overhead. After the war, Soviet engineers opened the tunnel. They reported that compasses spun wildly, radios went silent, and the walls themselves seemed to emit a low, constant hum. Captain Grinevich, leading the Soviet team, wrote in his diary, "We have discovered something no human could have made. It is alive. It is aware." The next morning, his entire unit disappeared. All that remained were fragments of metal, unrecognizable alloys not found in any element chart, and an old map marked simply as Shaft-9, kept in a private collection in Berlin. Decades later, in 2023, Dr. Elena Kowal, a Polish archaeologist, stumbled upon the old map while sorting through a family archive. The cryptic symbols and the faded Shaft-9 marking intrigued her. Despite warnings, she assembled a small team of scientists and explorers to locate the long-forgotten mine. After weeks of trekking through frozen forests, following landmarks that had barely survived 70 years of neglect, they reached the mountain. The entrance was almost invisible, overgrown with frost-laden pines and thick moss. The air was unnaturally still, and Elena felt a prickle of unease, as if the forest itself was watching her. They entered carefully, flashlights cutting through the darkness. The walls of the tunnel were, as the reports had said, faintly glowing with an eerie green luminescence. Electronic devices began to malfunction almost immediately. Cameras flickered, compasses spun, and even their watches seemed to slow or accelerate at random. Deep inside, they found the crates. Decades had not dimmed the strange humming that emanated from them. As Elena approached, the shadows on the walls seemed to writhe, forming shapes she couldn't recognize. Faces? Creatures? Memories. She felt a whisper in her mind, not audible, but clear. Leave. Ignoring the instinctive fear, they pried open one crate. Inside were metallic fragments, some shaped like machinery, others like organic forms, twisted and impossible. The air grew heavier, and a low resonance filled the tunnel, vibrating through the floor, walls, and bones alike. One of the team, an engineer named Tomas, reached for a fragment, and the lights flickered violently. He screamed as the metal seemed to pulse under his fingers, almost alive. Elena grabbed him, and they fell back, but the resonance lingered, whispering unintelligible secrets to anyone who listened too long. They documented what they could, but the mind seemed to respond to their presence. The further they went, the more distorted reality became. Shadows stretched unnaturally, time felt inconsistent, and the green glow intensified, revealing symbols etched into the rock that pulsed rhythmically. Elena realized these were not natural marks, they were instructions, a code, or a warning. Suddenly, the tunnel shook violently. Rock fell, sealing their exit. Panic set in. Radios, meant to call for help, emitted only static, yet the static formed patterns that seemed deliberate, almost communicative. Whispers now surrounded them from all directions, and shapes moved in the periphery of their vision. Elena remembered the old diary of Captain Grinevich. It is aware. The meaning became horrifyingly clear. The mine itself, or whatever slept in Shaft-9, had consciousness. It reacted to intruders. The team tried to retreat, but corridors that once seemed straightforward now twisted impossibly. Distances lengthened and shortened at random. Time itself felt fluid, and the whispers became voices, speaking in languages that never existed. One by one, team members vanished when distracted, pulled into shadows that solidified like liquid darkness. Elena alone reached the old map, realizing it contained the key to navigating the mine. Following the symbols carefully, she retraced her steps and finally reached the surface. The snowstorm had returned, as if nothing had happened. The forest was silent, too silent, with an oppressive calm that suggested the mountain had noticed her escape. Back in her lab, she examined the fragments. The metal was like nothing known to science, neither fully metallic nor organic. It seemed to react to thought, subtly shifting shape when she focused on it. She understood that the war had unearthed something beyond human comprehension, something that the Nazis and Soviets alike had barely scratched. Elena kept the fragments hidden, but she knew the knowledge could not remain secret forever. Shaft-9 still sleeps, alive in its own way, waiting, and those who remember the whispers, even years later, would hear them in the night, a warning or an invitation. No one could say what Shaft-9 truly was, a weapon, a being, a doorway to something else entirely. History had failed to record it accurately, and perhaps that was for the best. But the forest remembers, the snow remembers, the mountain waits, and every so often someone curious, bold, or foolish enough ventures too close, and the whispers call them in, leaving nothing behind but rumors, frost-bitten footprints, and the lingering hum of something alive deep beneath the earth. Shaft-9 is more than a relic of war. It is a secret that time cannot erase, a shadow that stretches across decades, touching those who seek it, testing them, and keeping its truth hidden, forever waiting for the next intruder.